into stage 3 of the Trivelo Zwift Grand Tour series. We are in stage 3 of our 6-stage series. Today's course is a flat course, 25 kilometers of mostly flat riding. A very exciting stage. We're 3 stages in. We've got some good results so far. We're just at the start of the race. How this works is we send everyone off in handicaps. It's a totally handicapped race. We are with the scratch group right now. There are 10 groups today, a record 78 riders, I think, or maybe there's more. I think maybe there's 80. We're just with this scratch group. They've just started. They're 1 kilometer in and they're just having some trouble forming together. There's a couple of people behind. You have to really push to get on. It's a hard way to start the race, to push max wattage to make sure you get on the front. And they're obviously pushing high wattage because they've gone straight past. And there's someone just off the back, Jordi Villani in his first race. He's 3 seconds behind, just needs to push some big watts to get on. Look at him pushing 7 watts per kilo for 140 watts. He should get on fine, no worries. Lots of talk about this guy in his first race. But welcome, if you can hear me. Welcome to anyone watching. If you can hear me, let me know in the comments. G'day Rich, sorry that you can't be racing. There are massive storms in Melbourne, and so a lot of riders, due to technical difficulties, could not get onto the stage. Power outages all out over Melbourne, and a bunch of riders actually can't make it in. So I'm expecting a lot of riders to jump on the live stream. If you're joining us, give us a wave, give us a hello, give us a comment. Let us know your thoughts on tonight's race. And I'll take you through the groups in just a second. This is the scratch group. We were supposed to have 80 plus riders, but instead there might be up to 15 or so riders who have missed out because of the storm and have been unable to start, so that's going to throw a spanner in the works. As we're on this scratch group, I'm going to take you through the race, but firstly, let's just highlight our yellow jersey in here, our current tour leader, Nick Lacandro, sitting in first place of this Grand Tour. He's in the scratch group. He's going to have to put in a big effort to hold on. Just up the road, we have the next group, the chopping block. Richo says he's spewing he's not racing. Sorry to see, Richo. Love the effort that you put in each week. We have the chopping block group. A bunch of riders in here. Jonathan Lambrinidis. We have our female yellow jersey, Michaela Parsons. You can see her there, currently winning the female tour. And she's actually coming 3rd overall, I believe, if she was in the male category. So not only is she leading the female category, but the points that she has won would put her in 3rd place overall, including the males. So that is a great effort from her so far. Will her group catch the starting riders? Someone says go Mooch. I'm not sure who that is. You can let us know who Mooch is. Alright, I'll take you through the race. So, chopping block group, we're a minute ahead of the scratch guys. They started 50 seconds ahead, so they've got a 10-second gap already, but sometimes it just takes a bit of time for the groups to settle. They are just 30 seconds behind the group ahead. This is a strong group. Ryan Waterson, Rowan Andrew in his first race, Craig Wilkerson, we've got the Wilkerson brothers racing tonight. Matt Wallace, I don't think Matt Wallace is supposed to be in this group. Oh no, he is. Oh no, I think Matt Wallace has missed his start. Unless I'm mistaken. Yes, there's some people in this group that may have missed their start. That can happen. We'll keep going up to what's happening ahead. And then the next group up. Envioto, Tim DeVries, 10 Degrees, Trevor Coulter, TC Bikes, Davo Williams. Damien Wood is part of the next group, so a bit of a smaller group here. I think they were supposed to have more riders, but because of the storm, some riders haven't joined. So thanks to everyone joining us live. If you're watching, this is stage 3 of the Trivelo Grand Tour Zwift series. It's a handicap race and we're currently taking you through the groups. Now this group started He started just 35 seconds ahead of the group behind, and they're still about 30 seconds. So, and then they were only 35 seconds ahead of the group in front, and this group looks like it's Damien Woods off the back, so that's not a good example. But this group looks like it's a minute ahead. So they've gained, this is a bigger group, they've already gained about 25 seconds on the group behind, so they could have gone out at a fast pace. That happens in these bigger groups. That does happen in these bigger groups. Sorry, my live stream just paused. Ripper, sad to see you join. You're supposed to be in this race, and you obviously had some technical difficulties. Not sure what's happened there. This is a big group. They've already put some time into the group behind. They might stay away a little bit because they're a little bit bigger. That's the disadvantage. And in fact, they are already catching the group in front. This is a bit of a surprise. They were 50 seconds behind this group in front, and it looks like they're already catching them. Especially because the group in front was quite a big group. But it looks like their numbers have thinned a little bit, again due to the storm. The storm has wreaked havoc on this race. And these group are 50 seconds ahead, and just 7 kilometers. This group was 50 seconds apart, and just 7 kilometers into the race, they're already coming together. That is dangerous for the rest of the race, because what happens is when these groups join, the overall average pace of the group increases, and so it becomes harder for groups behind to catch them. So this could be forming a winning group here. Just 7 kilometers in, and they're already about to join. And that is most likely due to the group in front being smaller than anticipated, because there is a storm in Melbourne and a lot of riders couldn't actually get onto the race. So an interesting start, the first 7 kilometers. Thanks to everyone joining us. If you're watching live or you're going to watch the replay later, we're in stage 3. We can't wait to see what happens and unfolds in this race. If you're watching and you know any riders, give us a comment and let us know who you think's going to win and what your tip is. Let's keep moving up the race and see what's happening ahead. Jess Ripper is riding in here. That is a shock to me, because I can see Jess Ripper has joined the live stream and he's also riding. Focus on pedaling, Jess. And less time on Instagram if you want to get some points in this race. And here we go, this group has joined up to form a bit of a super group. What happens with these super groups is they tend to stay away. The average speed of the group increases, and someone's going off the front straight away. Who's that leading off? Mark Robertson deciding to have a crack. It's Sean Martin, actually. Sean Martin going ahead. After giving himself. Is that grey hair I see? That might be a funny joke from him. Alright, let's keep going through the race. You know, this is a big group. They're going to stay together. They're just 30 seconds behind this next group ahead. This is a smaller group. They've got a 30-second lead, and they were about a minute to a minute 20 at the start of this race. So they've already lost about 40 seconds to the group behind, and that's going to happen because there's only 6 riders here, so their average speed is going to be a bit slower. Currently got a lead of about 30 seconds from that super group, so you would imagine that super group will swallow them up fairly quickly. This is some good riders in here. Emily Wild, the winner of the last Travello Zwift series. Tim Crow. Ed Smith, who seems to do consistently well. So I punished him with a bit of a handicap today. And they are 50 seconds behind the group in front. Again, a smaller group of Tyson, Rachel, Justin and Brad. They've got about 50-second gap, which is pretty similar to what they had at the start of the race. As they just catch up to Paula here, part of the limit group. And Jay Henderson leading the race. So Jay is our current leader. Welcome, Jen, to the live stream. Not sure why Troy isn't racing. So we're 10 kilometres into a 25 kilometre race. This is currently the front. We are on stage 3 of a 6-stage series. I'm also a little bit distracted because I've got the Bombers on in the background, and the Bombers are in the middle of a 36-point comeback. They're now back to 9 points. I can't quite believe that they've done it. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as well. Hopefully any Bombers fans watching or anyone watching the replay won't mind a bit of Bombers commentary. So this is the front of the race. This is Jay Henderson. Behind him, we've got Rachel, Brad, Tyson, and Justin. This was Group 2, who have already caught the leaders. And they have just a 50-second gap on the group behind. And this group behind is about to be caught by the super group. So this has happened very early. We're only 10 kilometers in, and this super group has merged together. They're already catching these front runners. Now this is going to make for an interesting race. I'm not sure if any of this group are going to be able to hang on to the pack. They're going pretty quick. Looks like the hills separated some as well. These front leaders, Stephen White, Mark Robinson, Banger, are pushing the pace. Look how big this group is. There must be 25, 30 riders here. Apologies, the live stream just cut out there. But look at this super group. They are absolutely flying, and they are cleaning up the course. Who's leading at the front? Paul O'Brien having a good crack. Paul Rouse at the front. Jess Ripper having a good go on his first race. This is a big group, and what this means, because they're so big, is they're pushing the pace at the front. If you can't hang on to the pace, you're going to get dropped. Look at the riders at the back just trying to hang on. That might be some of our Group 2. But what this means is it makes it tougher for the groups at the back, the gun riders in the scratch group, Group 9, Group 8. It makes it harder for them to actually catch this group because they're such a big group. They're averaging quite a high speed. Look at it, 43 kilometers an hour. So that's what happens with this big group. So this could mean that this big group could hang on for a win, which would be great for them because a lot of these riders might not have had a chance to win in a few stages. John Kane in his first stage race, Giant Celtic rider. Can't wait to see how he performs, the time trial specialist. Who's been dropped out of the group? Gigi's still in there, that's a great effort. Ed Smith's still in there. Wilco just unable to hang on to the group. Damo Harris also unable to be hung on. Kirsten McIver just spat out the back. Dirk just doing his best to hang on. Dave McCormack, we're seeing the people who have just been spat out the back with this from this wicked pace. This group, these are strong riders, but unfortunately they were a smaller group and it looks like they've dropped some people as well. So it will be tough for them to catch those in front. They're about a minute 10 behind. So I don't think with 6 riders they're going to be able to catch that big group in front. You never know, but it will be tough. It depends what's happening behind. Because just 20 seconds back, here come the chopping block group. And would you believe it? I think the chopping block group have been caught. No, they haven't been caught by the scratch guys. It's still just chopping block group and the group in front. So this is a big group as well. So now the race is on. We've got one super group here. They're about a minute and a half behind the super group in front. We've got 13 kilometers to go. It'll be interesting to see. And sorry, my mistake. The scratch guys are in this bunch. This is a big bunch. This is the scratch group. This is the chopping block group and the group in front. So this is a massive group going at a ripping pace. And there goes Sean Wilkinson with a power out. You can see him back there. Bad luck, Sean. Power outage. Our 2 yellow jerseys are in here. Nick and Michaela. How are they going to go today? Zach Owen has the audacity to type an "oh no" while he's in the middle of this group. Most guys are struggling to hang on, pushing massive watts. He has the audacity to get on his phone and type something. Geordie Villani in his first race, up the front of this group. Steve McMillan in there driving the pace. So when it's a bit of a flatter course, you've got more of an advantage to hang on to the group. It is harder to break away, but we'll see if the pace sorts anyone out. Essendon Bombers update, they're now 2 points behind for this epic comeback. For anyone interested. And here they go, they're about to swallow up the next group. Can this group hang on? They've got to put in big efforts. You can't be spat out the back. Don't let it happen. I'm going to click onto Matt Wallace. Because I want to see if they hang on, and they do. Well done. Does everyone get on? Oh, not quite. Davo Williams pushing massive wattage, 8.3 watts to try and hang on, and he does it. And he gets through. Well done. Let's get at the back and see if anyone's been spat out. Everyone gets back in. Well done. I don't think anyone got dropped there. Great effort. Chelsea Holmes in her first race. Gun rider. She could be challenging Michaela for the yellow jersey. So this is a huge group now. This is 4 groups combined with 11 kilometres to go, or 12 kilometres to go. Bloods Tennis says the Bombers will win and the Mooch will win. The Bombers have kicked a goal. That's great news. Who is the Mooch? Can you tell me who the Mooch is? Richo says Scratch will catch. Well, they already have caught. They're about to swallow another rider up. I'm not sure who it is. Who's about to get spat out the back. Let's find out exactly how far behind that big group they were. It's Craig Dean in his first race. First race is always tough. And Dave McCormack as well. It's always tough. You've got to get used to it. Zwift riding's a little bit different. Alright, I'm going to go up a bit and see how far behind this massive group is from the group in front. This is such a super group. It's going to be pretty exciting. And it looks like they're swallowing some riders up in between. Damo Harris 15 seconds ahead. And they're a minute and a half. They're about a minute 40 behind this group ahead. This group ahead has just 10 kilometres to go. They're currently holding a minute 40 lead from the massive group, which includes the Scratch group. Will they hold on for a minute 40 till the end? Richo reckons they will. Who am I watching here? Brad Bootsma, Tyson Mann, not able to hang on to the group. Jay Henderson's also been spat out. Spat out's such a tough term. I don't mean to sound mean when I say it. It's just these groups go so fast, and if you can't hang on to the watts, then they just go straight past you. Big group here. Lots of riders. If they can share the load, if more people can go to the front, do some work, do some turns, keep the average speed up, then they'll go a long way to hanging on and holding off the big group behind. It's interesting how this race has panned out. On our last flat course, the group handicaps were pretty similar in terms of time. They were pretty similar, and the groups stayed away right until the last 3 or 4 kilometres. In today's race, the groups have come together very quickly, formed some big groups before halfway through the race. So very interesting. Who's leading this group? Who's driving it? Jason Dearley on the front. Paul O'Brien, Sean Martin doing a lot of work on the front, trying to drive this pace. They don't want to be caught from the guys behind. If this group hangs on, my pick in this bunch, I think it would be a sprint between someone like Ben Walker or Alistair Lane. Guys who have got really strong sprints on them. They've only got a minute and a half, I'd say, on the group behind. And look at that. Every time we get to a slight rise, the group pans out a little bit. The group thins. You've got to keep pushing that wattage to hang on. These riders back here can't afford to go too easy and get dropped. Richard reckons that Zach's going to go on the climb. I don't know if Zach's the strongest rider in this race anymore. He's dominated this Zwift race, these Zwift series for so long, but we have some NRS riders, we have some Giant Subaru NRS riders in this race, and they could do really well. 8 kilometers to go. I can't wait to find out what happens. Bomber's still holding a 4-point lead for anyone interested. Who's just dropping off here? We've got some riders just unable to hang on. Justin Kapuik at the back. Tyson Mann doing a great job to hang on to this group. Emily Wild just can't get there. GG. They started a bit up ahead. They just can't hang on, but this would be a good battle between these two because every point counts, especially female on female. In the female category, Gigi and Emily battling it out. Ed Smith can't quite get on. And let's look at this. If I jump to... Oh... Look at this group. They are flying. I think they're 50 seconds behind Gigi, and she was just off the back, so they're about a minute. They're about a minute off that big group. Will they hang on? What do you reckon? They've caught up about 30 seconds in the last 5 kilometers. Is that enough? They're about to swallow up this group ahead. This group just still trying to work together. Brad, Rachel, Ed Smith, Jay Henderson, Paula, all trying to stay together, salvage some places, working well. But here comes this group. I said the Pelican before. Alex Holden is his name. NRS rider, part of the Giant Subaru team. First race, not afraid to go to the front, not afraid to push that wattage. Look at it, 370 watts. Only 174 beats per minute. For a young guy, he's in control. Really pushing that pace. Don't do too much work in your first race. Here we go. This is giving us some clear indication. The gap is now just 40-ish seconds to that group in front. In between, we've got Anu, Gigi, and Wild. It looks like Steve White is the back of that group in front. So that time is really coming down. We've got just 7.8 kilometers to go. That gap is now 40 seconds. Richard Abel might have been right. They might just catch them. And who's going off the front here? Jerry Spano. Not quite an attack. Don't get too excited. Might have just pushed the wattage a little bit. Both their yellow jerseys still in this group. Nick and Michaela. You can see that yellow here. It's a bit yellow and a yellow here. Yellow of Nick. This is a massive group. It's very interesting to see how this race finishes, especially once they get to that little hill. Another update, Bombers are 9 points in front. Bombers have kicked a goal. Now I'm gonna So the live stream is cut on Instagram, but luckily I've still got a backup recording here, so I'm going to keep commentating on this backup, and I'll upload this as a replay. Who's pushing off the front here? Who's brave enough to go out the front of this group? I think it's Kyle. Not quite. Can't quite see who that is. It's the Pelican, Alex Holden, continuously on the front. And they are just 35 seconds ahead of, oh no, not quite. Looks like there's some riders in between. Let's take it through. Next is Justin Kapuik. Tyson Mann. Colin just trying to hang on. Just getting off the back of the group. John Kane at the back here. Alright, so they just have a lead of just 23. Oh no, they have a lead of... Can't quite tell what the lead is because when you go around corners like this, Zwift often thinks that the groups are closer than they are. So I can't get a quite accurate reading of the gap between the groups. But this is our front of the race. And these guys have their best chance to win if they can put their head down for the last 5 kilometres and see if they can hold this gap. Paul O'Brien pushing at the front. This group has just thinned a little bit. As we can see, some riders just couldn't quite hang on in between. This has been a great race because some big groups have formed and one by one some riders have dropped off. They just couldn't hold the wattage. That yellow there is the yellow of Trivelo Coaching, the host of the meetup. That's why the yellow light is there, and that shows how far behind they are. And if I head to the back of this group, I might get a better time frame of, yep, it looks like they are 30 seconds behind. So 30-second gap between the two big groups. Some riders in between, obviously, and lots of riders behind that big scratch group. 4.6 kilometers to go. 30-second gap. Closing quick. Doesn't look like they'll hold it. These guys can't let up. If you're not pushing, if you're not willing to do the work, you're just going to get caught. I'm holding on Alistair. We need more selfless acts here. We can't have people sitting at the back. That 30-second gap is not safe. Joe Danaher lining up for a goal, and he's kicked it. The Bombers, 10 points in front again. One of the greatest comebacks this season. We'll have to watch the replay. Taking you back to the race. Oh, I really want this group to hang on. Not sure they'll be able to do it. They've got 28 seconds on the group behind. That group is coming. Whoever's on the front here needs to push it. You need to do your turn. You need to do your part for the group. It's the best way to ride. Get to the front. Push the power. Have a little rest. Some over-under efforts. Keep that average speed up. There's just 3.8 kilometers to go. Good wattage banger. Well done. Paul Rouse on the front, doing his part. Jess Ripper in there in his first race. There's just 3.6 kilometers to go. Still holding a slender lead of 26 seconds. It's coming down, but only marginally. I think they're going to get caught because we're coming up to a little rise here. That could sort them out. It's just one little hill. They've got to put in their best effort. See if they can hang on. Here we go. We hit the hill. 4%, 10%, 8%. You've got to push. You've got to work. Someone might actually attack here. You can see that group below. You can see that group behind. Here they come. I'm going to flick to them just to see if anyone goes ahead. Banger on the front. He always does well on these hills. The group's thinning a little bit. Anyone going to catch? Doesn't look like it. Is anyone breaking away from that group behind? No, but you can see the pace of the group behind is just too strong on this hill. Banger and Stephen White trying to have a crack, trying to delay. It does look like someone's gone off the front there in the group behind. Dave Ross and Zach Owen. There they go. Trying to get away by themselves. They put 3 seconds into the group. I'm going to flick on them. Richard Abel called it. Dave Ross and Zach Owen have gone on the hill. They've got a 3-second gap on the group behind. It's probably the one thing I don't like about Zwift is that it favours groups too much. So these guys might be putting in a massive effort to get a 3-second gap, but the group behind is, if they keep pushing the pace, they're just going to catch them. It's probably my only negative of. One of my negatives of Zwift. It's a great app. The technology is amazing. And that gap just came down like a rocket on that hill. This group doesn't look like they're going to hang on. The gap is now just 5 seconds to Rossi and Zach Owen. and then the big group behind. So they've done very well here. Just about 2k to go. They almost hung on. You can tell how fast that group behind must have gone to catch them. Big kudos to whoever's left in this group. You've done really well. Put in a big effort this breakaway. You know, handicap. Left a lot of people behind. But this scratch group is just going to catch. Not sure what Rossi and Zach are going to do. If they're just going to keep driving through, try and keep that 3-second lead on their group. Or are they just going to sit in? Hawthorn have kicked a goal. Back to 4 points. 2 minutes left. The footy and the cycling are going to finish at the same time as we see Jordi Villani and Zach Owen put the power down, put the pedal to the metal, try and get away from this group. 1.4 kilometres to go. It's Jordi Villani, Stephen White, Zach Owen and Dave Ross. They've got a little gap. They have to ride hard to maintain that gap. This is a Cancellara style effort from these four, trying to break away from the peloton. Peloton brings it back in. Alex Holden, reeling in his teammate, the Pelican, goes straight to the front. Do you waste your efforts here? What do you do? The yellow jersey, not letting up lightly, not letting anyone take his points. He currently holds a whopping 8-point lead in the category. Every place is worth a point. So if he comes in the top 10 today, he should hang on. He really should hang on to his yellow jersey. What's happening at the front? Who's going off? Julian Painter driving the pace now. He loves to do this. 500 metres to go. Trevor Coulter having a crack, using his boost. Going from a long way out. This is a great effort. Trevor Coulter, the underdog. Will he beat the Scratch Riders? He's not part of the Scratch group. And look at the break that's formed. We've got 15 riders here sprinting to the finish. We've got 200 metres to go. Who's going to take it? Can't quite keep up. It looks like Jared Donnelly, the coach, has put in a massive effort. It looks like Jared Donnelly, the coach, could win this. I think he's done it ahead of Zach. Jared Donnelly, Zach, Kyle Frankenfeld, Jordi Villani next. Jared Donnelly with a massive sprint. I can't see the finish, and I think that's it. I think Jared Donnelly, the coach, has won his first Zwift race. Who's going to win the sprint behind? Joe Spano in there. Paul Higgins behind. Wow. What a race. That sprint finish was mayhem. Luckily we've got the Zwift results that'll be able to tell us who won as Harry Weisinger comes in. Just got dropped from that group. Coming into the finish now. It was confusing because it said 25.8 kilometres, but a lot of the riders you see, they're doing 26 kilometres and not quite finished. Ryan Waterson coming in. Nick Granger just overtaking him for the sprint. Looks like Ryan holds on to it though. Joe Danaher kicks another goal. Bombers have kicked 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. They're now 16 points ahead. Colin finishing off his effort. All these riders have done really well. You can see that they're not far behind, between 30 seconds a minute, so they've obviously held on a lot in this race. Just couldn't quite make it to the end. Tyson Mann, that's a good ride from Tyson Mann. Every point counts here. You might not have been the first 30 for the sprint, but out of 80 riders, there's 80 points available. So if you're coming 40th, you still get 40 to 30 points. It's worth sprinting for. Every series so far has been decided by less than 10 points. So all these people back here, it matters. Tim DeVries coming through to the finish. Chelsea Holmes in her first race behind. Got to finish it off, Chelsea. Matt Wallace overtakes. Envioto in the female category. Justin Kaput behind. Finishing off, Davo Williams. Should roll through to the end. Does so. Anu, Emily riding together. Emily's broken away from Gigi. That will help her in the points category. Just a 1 point separation. Again, could make the difference. Gigi riding solo. Rachel Balding behind her. Yeah, this is a group coming together. we'll watch and see who sprints here, because we do say that every point counts. Paula doing a great job holding onto this group. Started at the limit, started out in front. Let's see who sprints well out of this group. Ed Smith has won a few races with his sprint, or come on the podium, so should do well. Anu and Emily sprinting here, you can see, and it looks like Anu gets Emily on the line at 9 watts per kilo. Winding it down. 400 to 500 meters to go. The Bombers have won it. I can't believe it. I almost turned it off. I was embarrassed for the first half. I'm gonna go back and watch it. Brad Bootsma lining up for a big sprint. Brad Bootser ahead of Jay Henderson. Great sprint, Brad. Who's going to get second? Ed Smith gets in there. Ed Smith takes it from Jay Henderson. Rachel behind. Paul McGowan to finish it off. Further back, we have Kirsty and Craig riding together. Joe Ritson. Who's going to win it out of Kirsty and Craig? Are they going to sprint, or are they just going to roll through together? We'll see. 300 to go. Craig rolls over the top. Kirsty doesn't challenge. Just finish it off. Joe Ritson just behind them. Tough on Joe. We put her. She's been doing so well. She's been smashing the groups. We put her in a tough group. Harsh by the handicapper. Dave McCormack coming through, finishing off. Damien Wood in his first race. It's always tough. And Dirk in his second race. Also finishing it off. That's it for this stage. Stage 3 done and dusted. Can't wait to see the results.